Welcome back to another vlog. Today is just going to be an overall update for my clinical year. I have so much paperwork to fill out and I just wanted to do these clinical year episodes in month blocks so you can see what I've been doing throughout the month in preparation for my final year of vet school, because it is a lot of information. So I wanted to share this with you just in case you do end up coming here, so you can see what you're getting yourself into when you are being placed into your clinical year school. For today, I wanted to quickly go through my first email that I received from the university with my confirmation. Basically with Virginia, Maryland, since every school is different, you will have to look into the Sakai resources to figure out what the requirements are for each school that you're looking at applying to. But for me in particular, Virginia, Maryland does track, so I actually had to fill out a survey last week requesting the certain track that I wanted. And I ended up choosing the public corporate track, and that is basically a government, research, diagnostics, law, all in one. I will be doing a lot more government related stuff instead of doing the normal small animal, large animal track where you get more rotations and electives and that. For the email, it says, "Congratulations on your acceptance into the clinical training program at Virginia, Maryland. We are excited to host you for your final clinical year." So I have 2 points of contact to reach out to in case I do have any questions about anything in the process. I will be speaking mostly with my DVM clerkship coordinator, and then I do have the assistant dean of student affairs and admissions that I will possibly meet during orientation. And then I did have to confirm my acceptance by a certain time, so I've already done that along with filling out the survey. And then it basically goes into talking about when my clinical year will start. I do have to get a specific type of clinician's jacket in a certain color. I will be doing 17 blocks, which are 3 weeks long at Virginia, Maryland, so that's kind of what it is. And I also do get one vacation block that is 3 weeks long. And I was able to choose the vacation block. And they did provide me with important links for the student clinical year handbook. I have to read that in its entirety to see what type of school supplies I need to get. It also has some helpful information about housing and stuff, because housing is such a big issue. I do already have 5 apartments that I have reached out to, so hopefully one of them will work out and I can sign a lease already for May, because a lot of these apartment leases don't start until August, which is a big problem because I have to be there in May, obviously. Pretty much everyone I've spoken to in my class already is having that issue where the apartment leases don't start until August. So some of them are looking at long-term hotel stays or Airbnbs for the time if they cannot find a lease to start in May. And then there is another super important part to this email. I have to provide proof of tetanus immunizations within the past 10 years. I have to prove of current rabies immunizations along with titers. And then proof of current liability insurance. So thankfully with SGU, we do have the SAVMA liability insurance that we are a part of during our clinical school year. And then I do have to provide proof of current health insurance. So I am on the school's insurance. I'm not sure how that works for final year, but since I am technically paying SGU, I'm certain I can opt in again for the Cigna health insurance that they offer. And then I do have a P86 form to fill out. And then I do have my mandatory orientation dates already. And that is basically what the email has. And it's quite overwhelming. There are, I want to say 8 attachments on this email. 7 attachments on the email. And it's basically going over the track requirements, the kind of year schedule with the blocks. So I know when my rotations are going to start. I just don't know my actual rotations themselves yet because they're in the process of making my schedule, and then I can finally put together my externships as well. Once their part is done, I'm still going to go ahead and apply to certain externships, especially now that I have dates to provide them during the time where I'm available. And then hopefully the other rotations will fit in just fine. So far, so good. That's the update for today, and I will be sure to let you know what happens in the next couple of weeks because I do plan on filling out all that paperwork soon. Exciting times! It's crazy that I'm already to this point. Like, I honestly remember starting vet school yesterday, and it has just flown by. Today is November 30th, and this past week I did find out my schedule for Virginia, Maryland for next year. I'm going to let you know kind of what it looks like and what to expect if you do decide to go to Virginia, Maryland, because there's a couple of things I was not aware of when I applied and then got accepted. I have to take anesthesiology, production management medicine, small animal internal medicine, community practice, emergency and critical care, shelter medicine and surgery, radiology, large animal surgery and emergency, and pathology and laboratory diagnostics. So that is my core rotation schedule that will be at Virginia, Maryland. And I have 18 weeks worth of externships to set up. It is going to be a very busy year, and I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for that because it's coming up very quickly. We're already at the end of November, so it's really only a couple of months away. For the externships part, I am going to make a separate video about that since I have so many weeks to plan. For my externships, I figured that could be in a video by itself because it is a lot. And I did email them this week to see if I could do any electives in-house, but they did mention that pretty much everything is full with their students, so it's not really easy to get an internal elective. So also keep that in mind if you are planning on going to this school. You most likely will not have the option to do internal electives. But if you are more like me and want to plan out your schedule and tailor it to how you want to be as a veterinarian in the future, this is honestly the perfect school because you get 18 weeks worth of externships. And I believe that is across the board in any rotation track that you do with Virginia, Maryland, so definitely look at the requirements and the core rotations just to make sure that the track that you choose actually gives you 18 weeks worth of externships as well. I did just make it back from Blacksburg, Virginia, just to check out the school and apartments around the area. And honestly, Blacksburg is such a cute town. We did end up flying into Roanoke just to get a rental car to drive up to Blacksburg just to see how that was. The airport is definitely a lot smaller than I imagined, especially since Virginia Tech is such a big football school. It's definitely a cute little airport, and I'm sure I will be going through that airport quite often just to get to and from some of my externships. It was really nice to see the campus again. It's been since 2019 since I had last seen it. It was great because when we got to the school, I was able to talk to one of the admission directors, and she was able to help answer some questions about some of the school supplies that I needed to bring with me, such as the stethoscope and clothes. The apartment hunting definitely was a lot harder than I thought it would be because a lot of the apartments sign leases in August instead of May. The housing was pretty complicated, but I did end up touring 6 apartments, and I really liked 2 of them, so I put my name on the list for 2 of them. That's how the trip went, and then afterwards we spent some time with family and friends in Indiana, and then we came home to Florida on Christmas Day. I'm definitely looking forward to moving to Virginia in May. It's starting to finally come together. I only have about 6 weeks of externships to set up now. It's been kind of a process. I did send in my paperwork as well to Virginia, Maryland. Now that the school has all of that, they can start my paperwork and make sure it all lines up with what they need. Or they'll come back and tell me, oh, you might need another rabies titer. I also went car shopping this past week, and I think I picked out a new vehicle, so now I'm gonna have to trade in my old car for a new one. But that's what's been going on. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday, and I will see you guys when I start my new term.